Hello children, good morning and welcome to KGBV online classes. How are you children? I think all of you are fine. Don't forget to wear mask whenever you go to outside. Stay home, stay safe and keep learning. Just concentrate on your studies. Okay? Children, today we are going to know about an important topic in grammar part, that is if clause. Do you know the word if is a conjunction? You know, among the parts of speech, 8 parts of speech are there: noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, preposition, conjunction and interjection. Among that, the if is also a conjunction. Now, what is clause? A group of words which has a finite verb, that means main verb. Main verb means that should be act as a action verb in the sentence, that is the finite verb. So, a sentence, a group of words. A sentence means a group of words which has a finite verb and a subject. Subject means something is going to done by the person in the sentence, that is subject. So, the subject and a finite verb, which the sentence has finite verb and subject is called a clause. So, that is the meaning of clause. Now, we are going to know what are the types of clauses. They are main clause and or independent clause, and subordinate clause or dependent clause. Children, do you know why the main clause is also called as independent clause, children? That is the clause which does not depend on any other clause and gives complete sense or meaning. Individually, it gives complete meaning in this sentence. That does not depend on other clause or other part of the sentence to give complete sense of the sentence. That is main clause. So, individually the clause is giving complete sense. So, we are calling it as independent clause. Okay. Now, we are going to know about subordinate clause. What is subordinate clause? Subordinate clause or dependent clause. The clause which depends on main clause to get complete meaning or sense and does not give complete meaning individually. That means, to get a complete meaning, the subordinate clause is going to depend on main clause. So, that is dependent clause. See, look at here the example. Through the example, we are going to know and we can easily understood the sense of the subordinate and main clauses. See, if you work hard, you will succeed. When you will succeed? If you work hard. That is, if you work hard, that means if you work hard only you will get success. So, to give the complete sense, if you work hard is going to depend on that remaining part of the sentence, that is called as main clause. Individually, the main clause, that means you will succeed, the part of the sentence you will succeed is giving complete sense. You will succeed means you will get success. So, that has complete meaning, but that is not depending on other part of the sentence. Okay. Subordinate clause itself only depending for complete sense on the main clause. So, we conclude that the subordinate clause is going to depend on main clause or independent clause to give complete sense. These are types of clauses, that means main clause and subordinate clause. I think you understood the little topic now. Next. And children, now I want to give you small definition about what is finite verb. In the above topic, I told that finite verb which sentence has finite verb and subject is called clause. But what is finite verb and non-finite verbs? What is finite verb? The main verb in every sentence is a finite verb. Simply say the main verb in every sentence is a finite verb. But what is non-finite verb? It is a form of verb that does not act like a verb, but it is known as the verb type that are, see, non-finite verbs are simply, you should keep on your mind this, participles, infinitives and gerunds are non-finite verbs. Okay children? Okay. Now children, I am going to tell you how if-clause sentences can be written. If-clause sentences can be written in two ways. How? If is used in the starting of the sentence, comma is placed soon after the subordinate clause. That means, see, through the example, you can easily understand this. If you study well, that is the subordinate or dependent clause. If you study well, you should put comma. You will get good marks. That means, if you are going to write a subordinate clause at the starting of the sentence, you should put comma after the subordinate clause, then you should write the main clause. You will get good marks. That is the main clause in the sentence. See the next sentence. If she were a doctor, she would do the operation. If she were a doctor, she is not a doctor. But if she were a doctor, what will she do? What would she do? She would do the operation. So, middle of the sentence, that means after the subordinate clause or before main clause, you should put comma. Okay. Next, if you want to write main clause at the starting of the sentence, you should not use any comma after the main clause. See, you will get good marks if you study well. You know, if you study well is subordinate clause, but you wrote that main clause, you will get good marks is main clause. You wrote that at the starting of the sentence, so you should not use any comma after that main clause to write subordinate clause at the next part of the sentence. She would fly in the sky if she were a bird. She is not a bird. She was not a bird. But if she were a bird, she would fly in the sky. If you want to write like this, that means main clause at the first of the sentence, she would fly in the sky. You should not use any comma. You should write after that main clause only subordinate clause without any punctuations. She would fly in the sky if she were a bird. He would have got the good job if he had attended the interview. So, you should keep it on your mind. It's a simple note about how should we write main clause and subordinate clause in the sentence. Then, there are 4 conditions in if clause, very important. That is, they are zero condition, possible condition, imaginary condition and impossible condition. Now, we are going to know about the 4 types of clauses, if clauses. First of all, I am going to tell you simply through the definition. You can easily understand by the definition, that is zero condition. What is the zero condition? Children, now we are going to know what is zero condition. Zero condition means it expresses the scientific truths, general truths, mathematical calculations. That means nobody can oppose that. That is zero condition. For example, if we heat water, it evaporates. Everybody knows that. Nobody can oppose that. Then general truths, then mathematical calculations. What are the mathematical calculations? For example, if you multiply any number with 0, you will get 0. Everybody knows that. No one can oppose that. This is zero condition. Okay. Next one is possible condition. What is possible condition? For example, if you want to do something in the present, you will get result in future. But we are not sure about what is the positive result or negative result we will get. That is not the sure in this condition. Okay. For example, if he invites me, I will attend the party. If she sings well, she will win the prize. We are only hoping the future. Okay. That is possible condition, but possibility, may, that is possibility. It may be possible to happen in the future. So, if she sings well, she will win the prize. So, she should sing well if she want to get a prize. So, that is, if she sings well, she hope she will get prize. Okay, that is the possible condition. And then third one is imaginary condition. What is imaginary condition? In the imagination only it will possible. The condition expresses some actions which will be possible in the imagination only. Those are imaginary condition. For example, if he studied well, he would get good marks. That means he didn't studied well, so he didn't get good marks. Both are completed in the past. If he studied well, he would get good marks. If he studied well, but he didn't studied well. Okay, you understood it? Through the imagination only that will be possible, the condition. Okay, both the main class and subordinate class also will be in the past tense only in this imaginary condition, but it is not possible in any kind of present or future time. Only in imagination only it will be possible. Okay, now we are going to know the last one, that is impossible condition or unfulfilled condition. This condition deals with the completed actions which we cannot fulfill in the present or future. Almost all the action completed in the past, but there is no scope to fulfill, to complete the action, either it is in present or future. Okay, that means both the subordinate clause and main clause, that means both the dependent clause and independent clause must be in past tense only, that means past perfect only. Okay, for example, see, the driver was careless, so he met with an accident. What is the meaning of this? If the driver drives the car carefully, there would be no scope for met with an accident. So, we should conclude that as if the driver had not been careless, he would not have met with an accident. If he drives carefully, there is no scope for accident. Do you understand this? Almost all completed in the past tense, there is no scope to fulfill the action in present or future. That is impossible or unfulfilled condition. Like that, another example I am going to tell you. Hari studied well, he got good marks. If Hari had not studied well, see, if Hari had not studied well, what would be happened? He would not have got good marks. Understood? So, that is the unfulfilled or impossible condition. There is no scope, there is no possibility to complete or fulfill the action, either it is in the present or future. By the simple definition and example, I am trying to get the little knowledge about the conditions, children. Okay, thank you very much. I think all of you are understood the today's topic. Okay, children, make a notes. That is better to revise yourself and try to do exercises by collecting various grammar books. Okay, children, keep concentrate on your studies. Bye. Thank you very much.